You straight up cuckooed that dude, bro. Oh my God.
You've got all your Charger gear on because
feeling fresh as hell.
Well, you guys better enjoy it. The fans loved it.
You have to love what you're seeing on tape if you're a Chargers fan, especially for the future with Justin Herbert.
On the move and throws and touchdown.
Do this together.
Players, coaches, staff, fans, together we can create something truly special.
Stay tuned for some good content.
Hey, folks. Welcome back to the Charger Chat. I'm your co-host, Wolldog, sitting with my buddy, Kev Huggin Duggin.
Hey.
Hey. Why did we go Yoda?
I don't know. No idea.
Well, folks, it's a two-man episode, this Charger Chat. Kyle hopped on the plane early to Hawaii and just can't be bothered at this point, and who can blame him? If I was on a trip to Hawaii, I wouldn't want to be bothered either. So
no.
It's just me and Kevin, and hey, it's 4th of July, baby.
Sign me up.
Happy birthday, America.
Fireworks.
Pew, 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 pew. And I'm proud to be an American. Where at least I know I'm free.
And I won't forget the
Man who died.
who gave that right to me. So
And I proudly stand up.
All right, that's the like 8th episode in a row. We sang like way too much in the beginning.
Next to you. And I defend her still today. Oh. And wait, no doubt. I love this side. God bless the USA. Hoo-ha.
Holy shit.
All right, folks. Well, we had to record this episode kind of quickly. So there's not a ton of new things to talk about over the past couple of days, but this is still going to be a heck of an episode. We've still got a Bolt Insight and an Ask Boltfam lined up for you guys. So get ready. I mean, for the fact that we have as many questions as we do in Ask Boltfam.
I love you guys. I love you guys so much. This is like,
these are the goats, basically.
GOATs.
Yeah,
absolutely.
These are the goats. But let's start off here at the top to talk about a couple of things that have been going on. Eric Kendricks is one of the newest additions to our roster, and there's some quotes from other players and coaches about how they feel he's fitting in. And to be noted, like a lot of these guys have had something to say about it. Eric Kendricks, who has been in the league 8-9 years, something like that.
He's been a serious veteran.
Yeah, he's a serious veteran. And
Vikings.
People have been talking a lot about this guy. This doesn't sound like a guy like on his last leg kind of thing. Sebastian Joseph Day said he has a great personality. We're always yucking it up outside the locker room. He's a good dude. I really like Eric. I like the energy that he brings. Eric brings quick and concise communication. That's what you need at that position. Quick and concise communication, confidence. He's done a great job helping us get lined up and making the calls. He's a very smart player and a great player as well. We're super excited to have him.
I'm curious what this is going to do for like our tackling. And a lot of people, there's a couple videos that came out recently of like the Chargers are primed to do really well this year, but what they sucked at last year was tackling. And I have a feeling he's going to be a big difference maker for what happens in those first 3 yards behind the line, behind that line of scrimmage.
Right.
So I'm really hoping he can kind of play at his level that he did for the Vikings and really make us a better tackling team. Because there's no reason we should be last in the league for, rushing against us. It's ridiculous.
I would think not. No, yeah. And then Derwin James said, I love EK. EK is a baller. It's good having EK in the middle, confident guy. He's still learning everything. It's kind of new to him, but he's going to get it here soon.
EK and Eck are a little too close together, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, because when you read it, you're like, Eck. But like, wait, who are you talking about?
What are we talking about? Yeah, maybe
EK. Eric Kendricks. Okay,
maybe next year he gets the Eck if Eck's not with us any longer.
Ooh, that would be
dark.
That's
a dark thought.
It's a dark thought. He's so far hitting. Everybody's saying all great things about this guy.
Absolutely.
And the one that most matters is Coach Staley. And Coach Staley said, I think that you guys have probably seen it, talking to him and his teammates. He's fitting right in. He's a competitor. He's such a complete player. He has so much experience. It's important that when you're bringing guys in from the outside, that they're going to add to your football team. He's done that in a short amount of time. He has a great way about him. He's humble. He's learning too at times, but he has just so much experience to draw from. For a player of his caliber, of his accomplishments, he's an all-pro, Walter Payton Man of the Year. We'd love that. This is one of the top players that has position over an entire decade. So that respect means a lot. I'm really happy that he's proud to be a part of us. I love that the fact that he fits so well with his teammates. I know that he's going to help us be a championship caliber team. I think that should make all of us feel like we're on the right track. But I also know that he is going to really add to what we have. He's going to help make our culture even better, even stronger.
This is so interesting because last year, we brought in some specialty defensive players, guys that are veterans for Staley, right? And we didn't see much of them together on the field at the same time. Like Khalil Mack had the best year in terms of playing the most, but you didn't see J.C. Jackson. You know what I mean? You didn't see Johnson on the defensive line in the middle there. You didn't see these guys. So if he's I feel like once we get all these guys healthy and on the same page, it's going to be exactly what Staley needs to have a really strong, defensive showing for the year. I feel really good about this. I feel bad that what happened to get him, but I'm glad he's here.
I am too. I think about prior veteran players that we've brought in, other guys that we had kind of really high expectations for, and then they didn't quite meet those expectations. I think of like Thomas Davis, I think was one who we brought in as that veteran presence and somebody who, teammates could look up to as far as like everything that they're saying right now about Kendricks. And so far, Kendricks hasn't played a snap for us, but given the amount of time, it's not like he's coming off, we're not picking him up like off of an injury or something like that he's having to come back from. It's just like Vikings were done with him, whatever happened over there is done, and now he's over here. And he just seems to be like an awesome team player. Like that's what you're looking for in an off season, especially with, like you said, a position that we need to get better at 100%. We all loved Drew Tranquil and love what he brought to this team, but he was still a rookie in a rookie contract. Yeah. This is a guy now that's coming in, and same with Kyler Murray, a rookie in a rookie contract. Now we're bringing in a veteran guy who can come in. The players love him. The coach loves him. The social media team loves him. I remember I just saw the video of like getting all the players to make like animal sounds. Yeah. And there seemed to be like zero hesitation. He was on fire. Eric Kendricks. He was just like immediately going at it. So he's fun to play with, like in every aspect that you could say. So I'm extremely excited to see this guy. I hope he brings everything that he does to this team. I'll be curious to see if he ends up getting that C patch on his jersey because of how much everybody's been talking about him.
I think there's a good chance for that. And I think it's something interesting you just said that I didn't really thought about. Like there's other linebackers that we've brought in at the tail end of their career. Like the one I remember kind of the most is Takeo Spikes. Remember Takeo with the giant neck muscles are up here?
Oh yeah.
But they're bringing in leaders that didn't quite have the
physicalness,
it wasn't
physicality
fully there anymore. You know what I mean? And I feel like we're now bringing in leaders that also are at the top of their game, or at the very beginning of maybe the trail off at the top of their game. So I like that we're getting these guys just a little bit earlier in their career than we have in the past, and I'm really pulling for him because he's been a stud for the Vikings, and if he can help us and call the shots and get everyone lined up, get everyone in the right place, be that green dot we want, it'll be awesome.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see if he does get that green dot. I mean, as far as a veteran, it makes sense to give him the green dot. I know Derwin's had it a couple times, but I think it's better for Derwin not to have the green dot. It would be better to have a veteran out there who, if he can pick up the playbook and really understand how it all goes, which by all accounts he should, then this should be a really exciting upgrade to the defense that might be that under the radar thing, because we really haven't picked up any other extra players, any other veteran players. Like Kendricks is the guy.
Splash. He's the splash this year. So yeah, let's cannonball. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's fingers crossed cannonball, and you can cannonball your way over to patreon.com/ChargerChat. Check out all the funny videos we got over there, all the yucks, all the hangouts, and just great times. It's just good times.
Just good times.
Patreon.com/ChargerChat. And be sure to, if you do join at the special 10 level, because we have a monthly hangout where you get to hang out with us, and chat and talk. And then you also get one of these bad boys, those patches right there, folks. You can put it anywhere. You can put it on your jersey, put it on your hat, put it on your leggings, on your
laptop.
car.
I saw somebody put it on their laptop. It looks awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen this yet.
Oh yeah, we got tagged. It's awesome.
Oh, I got to look it up then. Okay. Well, so yeah, patreon.com/ChargerChat. Check out all the fun stuff we got over there. But if you don't want to go over there, that's totally fine. You can go to our regular website, chargerchat.com. Check out all the fun stuff we got over there. T-shirts, hoodies, and stickers. You can chat it up with other Charger Chatteteers in the member section and ask questions in Ask Boltfam. So go check out chargerchat.com. All right, gang, it's time to go on to the next segment. It is Bolt Insight. And we have a familiar face joining us. One of our favorites,
I love
honestly.
him. I love
especially me and Kevin, because this guy loves movies as much as we do. We can really talk movie.
Get ready. Get ready. Ooh. It's coming in hot.
All right, let's go.
As soon as that clock starts, your ass is mine.
When I met Justin Herbert, man, that dude is big as hell.
You know, the goal is to just keep it rolling.
Come in hype, because we have a lot of things to be excited about.
All right, guys, we are back with another Bolt Insight, and oh my God, he's back. Jake Hefner from the Chargers Unleashed podcast. What's going on, brother?
What is happening, man? It's been way too long since we've gotten a chance to do this. Always enjoy coming onto the show, talking football with you, and I'm excited for this one. We're in the drum-dums of the offseason right now, and it sucks. We need as much football to talk about as we possibly can.
Yeah, I know. I feel you, dude. And likewise, I'm so happy to have you back on. It's always fun to catch up with you. And we came up with a little something interesting that we'll do at the end of the segment. We had a little time to prepare. So we're going to leave you with that. We'll come back to it. We'll circle around. But we got to start off with, how's everything going on over at the Chargers Unleashed? How you guys doing?
It's great, man. We're just, again, trying to get through the offseason. We got what? Because it'll be July next week. So we got about 4.5 weeks before we're finally kicking up with training camp. So, slowly, but the more and more that we just keep looking at this, it's going to just go by so damn slow.
Yeah.
It sucks, like having to turn on sports stations that you normally listen to in the morning.
Yeah.
And there's nothing about football, or it's the same topics of football. It's just like, can we just get to the 2023 season, please?
Exactly.
Let's go.
Or it's like, I feel like the last couple of days has been Poke a Charger, where they're starting to put up lists about Herbert. Yes. I'm like, what do you guys want? You guys are bored right now. What's going on?
Yeah, it's Monday, June 26th. Let's see if we can't antagonize an entire fan base. Let's get them angry.
Let's poke everyone. They poke Sean Merriman. Like, what are you guys poking the bear for? Don't poke the bear. Come on now. Be smarter than that.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
So, we haven't talked since we hired our new offensive coordinator. I just wanted to get your thoughts and impressions on, we had 2 days with them where we kind of saw a little competition, 7-on-7 stuff. What are your thoughts on Kellen Moore and what he's going to do for us?
It's wild, man. I mean, everything that you start hearing about as of now, and yes, I know I've been saying this for the past 2 months, whether it's been in May or it's been in June, which we currently are right now, but to get this type of feedback, and yes, to see what you see in the 7-on-7 highlights that we've seen from the Chargers Twitter account, it just gets you optimistic, not just from the standpoint of what Justin Herbert is capable of doing. You already kind of see those corrections in his mechanic, his release point. Let's not have any more of those batted down passes for a guy who's 6'6" and his size. There's no reason why those passes should be getting batted down. But even from the run game standpoint as well, it's just that was one less thing that Justin Herbert had to assist him last year. It's still amazing that Austin Eckler was able to put up the numbers that he did, given how porous the run game was throughout the entirety of the regular season. But Kellen Moore, I think, has a definitive plan what he wants to do with this offense. I personally think he just has basically carte blanche to do really whatever it is that he wants. I don't think that you're going to have any type of friction at all between him and Staley as far as who needs to do what, or that Staley's going to try to insert himself into it. I think he's basically just going to leave this all up to Kellen Moore. But in terms of the run game, in terms of the downfield passing attack, that obviously you see what the Chargers went out and invested in this season.
Big time.
I'm excited, man. Because I think it's things that we're finally going to see in this offense that we've expected to see the past 2 years with Joe Lombardi, especially when we're talking about the red zone for this offense. I think you're going to see a complete different turnaround. I think you're going to see an entirely different look, and just expect some high scoring games.
Yeah, no, it's exciting, man. And it was kind of interesting. You kind of like, now that we've don't have Lombardi anymore, you kind of look back and kind of what he did and kind of came in and kind of brought his system and forced this on that. And even just as simple as bringing in a backup quarterback that knew his system well. And then you see Kellen come in. He's like, all right, who are our guys? Let's go. Who we got here? We're going to make this work. My system, your system. We're going to put it together. So I'll be curious to see what is kept and what is just tossed.
Yeah. I mean, I still think it's probably a majority of it is going to be new to the entirety of the team, but I still think you're gonna have aspects of it for sure. I mean, you I always like to pigeonhole the Chargers offense and defense in 2 games. I thought personally the Miami game was the best coached game offensively and defensively that Brandon Staley and Joe Lombardi had collectively game planned and prepared for. Sure. You go a little bit further, the Indy game could be one. The Ram game, obviously, where they finally got a big win later in the season, that could be another one. But I think you're just going to finally see the best of putting Justin Herbert in a position where he obviously can succeed. The cachet of weapons that you now have for him to utilize properly, to not just say, hey, Justin, it's 3rd and 12. Make sure you see 13 and just go to him no matter how many people are covering him.
Yeah.
You got to get away with that, and you got to get him to have more viable weapons, but also be able to trust these guys in those certain situations. So how you're going to deploy these wide receivers, how you're going to deploy these tight ends, what's your running game going to do for you? If we're talking about your running game getting you 2 to 3 extra yards on first down, for example, that's a huge difference in the long run when we're talking about when the Chargers come around to the 3rd down. So I think the progress for what Kellen Moore has implemented is obviously have the Chargers winning on early downs and scoring in the red zone. And that's what you need to do in this league.
100%. And it's exciting to see what this left side of the line is going to be. Moving Zion over, having Rashawn back. Like, those are 2 first rounders on that left side of the line. So what does that mean for the run game, and how safe is that blind side going to be?
It's interesting because we all kind of figured at the beginning of the season that it was going to be Rashawn Slater next to Jamari Sawyer. And you just, the mental concept of that, to think of those 2 guys next to one another is just, it's beef. Yeah. It's a lot of beef on the left side. But I like this idea of moving Zion over to the left side. It's more of his natural position than him playing at right guard. Obviously, Jamari is kind of a Swiss Army knife because he played so many different offensive line positions throughout college. So I don't think that him moving over to the right guard spot is going to be an issue at all. But we were just talking about this. Sam Monson from Pro Football Focus had rated the Chargers offensive line going into this season as the 9th best, which is a huge jump from where it was last year.
Big time, yeah.
And you get Rashawn Slater back. You plug in Zion Johnson next to him, which those 2 combos should be pretty nice. Insert him next to Corey Linsley on the right side, which should obviously make Zion Johnson a better player when you insert him between Rashawn and Corey Linsley.
Totally.
And then to, again, see the continued improvement of Trey Pipkins. We talked about this, it feels like, for years, but when it came down to it for this year and a contract year that he needed to have it, I thought the work that he's done with Rashawn Slater and Duke Manyweather in the offseason has been phenomenal. I think he's really done a good job of prepping himself and improving his game. So you look at Trey Pipkins as like really the only weak point of this offensive line, and it's not really that weak. Man, think about what you could do behind this offensive line.
We've come a long way, man. I just remember the years and years of Phil not having anything, and just
Jared Gaither.
Oh, dude, just like
big lazy.
It was brutal, dude. Like, it was just a brutal time. And the fact that we're now investing in it and looking what we could be if we can stay healthy is going to be exciting. Not only for the run game, but especially for Justin.
You know that Phillip Rivers was at one point saying, when the Chargers started drafting all these high offensive linemen in their picks, he's like at home just saying like, "Dadgummit." Like,
yeah, yeah, exactly. No, for sure. So, well, let's jump over to the training camp. Like, there's so many different things that we're going to look at. There's so many different things that could develop. You got J.C. Jackson. Is he good? Is he healthy enough? Is he going to be able to start, week 1? Is it the wide receiving core? What does this look like? Who's 1, 2, 3? And how does that all mesh? Is it 1, 2, 3? Or is it 1, 2A, 2B, 2C? Like, how does that work? So what are you looking for? What do you want to see coming out of training camp?
Training camp, there's so many camp battles to watch, man. I mean, obviously seeing J.C. Jackson back there in week 1. When we first heard this news drop from Tom Telesco back in March, and he said, yeah, there's a good chance that he could be ready by week 1. And everybody clicked.
I was like, what? Yeah, totally.
You said that, right? It's like, what? I mean,
you heard that too, right? I heard it.
Yeah.
You heard it.
Everybody was fact checking everybody. Like, he said that, right? Okay, so to hear him say that, and then now we're at a position where you've seen all of his rehab work in the offseason, and now that he's actually at mandatory minicamp, even though he's just working off on the sidelines. I mean, I think my colleague Dan Wolkenstein said it best. No matter if this works or if it fails, you really have to give the guy credit
100%.
for coming back from a very, very rare injury. This isn't your torn ACLs that happen. It's basically just run of the mill, and people know how people can recover from that. You get a torn patella, and to have that on a cornerback that just cutting is everything for him. And some people have come back from it, but they've never been the same from it. So it really is a testament to J.C. Jackson's work ethic, but to have him back, and obviously in a defense where I'm sure that Brandon Staley is going to know from the get-go how to utilize him better, because collectively there was a lot of opinions that those first few weeks he wasn't being utilized properly. I think it was half that. I think it was also half of him playing catch-up off of that last minute foot surgery that he had, which basically wiped out those last 3.5 weeks of him at training camp.
Yeah.
So he was still playing catch up at that point too. So you start fresh with Brandon Staley, you insert him into a scheme and utilize him properly. You still have Derek Ansley and Tom Donatel that he's familiar with. Now all of a sudden this defensive coaching staff, it's littered with secondary coaches. So if you get him back healthy, I think we're going to get the J.C. Jackson that we were all expecting to see from New England. Outside of that, for storylines, let's talk about the running backs. Obviously, we're still waiting to see, it's going to be Austin Eckler, and who is it behind him? Let's see the emergence of Isaiah Spiller, because we never got to see Isaiah Spiller in a fair shot last year. It was either Larry Roundtree, Joshua Kelly was in there, and then he ended up getting injured. Sony Michel was dabbled in a little bit. I never fully understood why they were not giving him a crack at any one of those weeks, especially later in the year. So,
and with Sony Michel, what's going on? What are we doing here?
Right. So I never fully understood that. So I'm excited to see him. I'm excited to see how this tight end group is going to be utilized, because I know it's the same group of what we had last year. And a lot of people were expecting that the Chargers were going to bring in either a free agent tight end or go out and draft one. Neither of those have happened yet. Keep your ears peeled, because that might happen as we get closer to the beginning of the regular season. And then, dude, the defensive line competition. Holy crap, man.
Yeah.
As much as we want to give this unit flack for the run defense that they allowed last year, there's some dudes on this team. And this is after losing 5 guys.
Maybe some war daddies
or the offseason.
War daddies, one might say.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, I mean, Scott Matlock, dude.
I'm excited for this dude.
Everybody should be excited about Scott Matlock, especially just listening to some of his first interviews. Like, that gets you hyped.
Totally.
That's some WWE stuff that just that wants to sell tickets. Gerard Clark, undrafted free agent. You haven't had a guy like that size, really that close since the old days of Jamal Williams.
Yep.
So there is a lot of girth, a lot of beef on this offensive line. Hopefully, obviously, Austin Johnson and Tito Ogbaniba, they end up coming back healthy for this season. But all of a sudden, you are we're talking 6 deep. So how many are the Chargers actually going to keep? And then lastly, I'm interested to see who's going to win out the wide receiver 6 competition. And I know that right now we could probably pencil in Jalen Guyton to that. He has not practiced up until this point. Everybody expects him to start training camp, which I do as well. Pokey Wilson is kind of growing on me a little bit.
Yeah.
I know it's early, but he's been getting work in OTAs and minicamp. And with Jalen, it's interesting because, yes, he's still your fastest guy on your team. Yes. Downfield threat, absolutely. Pokey Wilson, though, while he may be slower and yes, obviously inexperienced, he's a little bit more flexible for the positions that he can play. So anytime that you could add that type of versatility to an offense, and especially as a weapon, coaches are going to take note of that. So he can go deep. He can play in the slot, where Jalen, is much more of your down threat guy. So I'm interested to see how that war goes. I think it's going to be interesting when it comes down to it. And finally, it just looks like the Chargers are going to keep 6 wide receivers, something that they haven't done for the past 3 years.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting with this year, too, them holding on to everybody and not making cuts throughout. It's going to be one day it's going to be like, we have all these guys, and then boom, laid waste to the guys at camp. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I'm especially the defensive line. I'm kind of excited to see. I like how Staley decides, I see a problem. we had a major problem last year. We're going to address it. And what I like about Staley is he's addressing those things as he goes. You know what I mean? And he absolutely addressed that. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do there. And all right, man. Well, the time is now. The time is now for our. So we have a shared excitement for one thing specifically, and it's horror movies. You love horror movies. I love horror movies. I love your posts. I'm always like responding to them, and I make them and watch them all the time. So we're like, okay, how can we incorporate that into some Chargers stuff? So we came up with an idea. We're gonna have we have 5 players, and we need to pick a horror movie that suits that player. And then we're gonna wrap it up with our team this year. What horror movie would our team be? So let's kick this off the way we should. We got to go number 10. So Justin Herbert, what horror movie is Justin Herbert?
You know, this was interesting because I kind of like look at all the aspects of Justin Herbert. Obviously, the rookie record's broken, everything that he's back for this year. I was trying to incorporate and throw a little bit of shade. It's like, okay, what can I use from like a social media quarterback? I try to throw that in there as well to try to throw some shade on that narrative. And what I came up with, believe it or not, was Jason X.
Okay.
Jason X. And I say this, and I'm thinking of just Justin Herbert's status from last year, now coming into this year. Because Jason X early, if you haven't seen the movie, he goes to space.
Oh, he's in space, dude. It's full-blown space, Jason.
He's still in his old form. He's still getting a few kills in, but then there comes a point in the movie where he just absolutely gets blown away and gets his ass kicked and is just basically disintegrated.
Yeah.
But then he gets upgraded.
Super upgraded. He's smashing people against trees, breaking faces into tables.
Yes.
Next level energy.
Yes. So I think that now that arm's back healthy, the upgrade from Kellen Moore at offensive coordinator, your mechanics are fixed a little bit. You got all these weapons. You have everything in your cachet now to just go out and start dominating.
I love it. Jason X. I love it. Okay. For Justin, for me, I went older. I went to a 70s movie. And it's I don't know if many people have seen it. So the movie is called The Bird with the Crystal Plumage. And this is Dario Argento. And the reason pretty simple. He was a bird, right? Or he's a duck. So that makes sense. And he's also really beautiful when he plays. So the plumage is all about hey, look at me, I'm rad. You know what I mean? Like that kind of energy. And the movie's basically about a serial killer, and he's going to kill everyone in the AFC West this year. So that's kind of how I felt. The bird with the crystal plumage.
I like your aspect of getting the Italian horror films in
Gotta
there.
get
Very
the
nicely
giallo
done.
in there. Got to get the giallo in there. So, all right, cool. Next one, Austin Eckler. What you got?
So for Austin, this was another one that was kind of difficult for me. And I had to think of just someone that, despite his size, despite anything in front of him, the dude just still keeps coming. Child's Play 2. Child's Play 2.
I like that you would too specifically. I love that
because it's just for that third act alone when they're in the the good guy store and he's chasing him through all the hallways. And first he gets his hand ripped off, and then he replaces that with his knife.
Yeah.
And then he comes after Andy, and he swings and he misses, and he gets his legs taken off by the machine.
Yeah.
Then he puts himself in a cart, and he just
he's not giving up.
And then he gets wax dumped on him, and then even still he keeps coming. They finally have to insert a tube into his mouth, and he finally just blows up. And it's just like the dude just kept coming. It didn't matter how big he was, didn't matter if he was strong or not. The dude just kept coming. So last year, considering however you want to rate the Chargers run game, it wasn't that good. But no matter that, he still ended up putting up ridiculous stats. So for one of the littlest guys that's out there on the field, this dude just keeps coming.
I love it. That's a great answer. And I love you brought the info with you. You brought the whole third act with you and you nailed it. And I love that. This is not a shot, Austin. I'm just if you're not going to listen to this, but if you did, I'm not taking the piss out of you on this one, but it makes sense to me. Okay. I got to go Leprechaun because he's looking for his pot of gold this offseason.
Oh, man.
I had to go Leprechaun.
Brilliant.
I had to go Leprechaun. There's nothing anything other than that. It's just the pot of gold. That was just had to be done.
Oh, that is genius. I loved it. I don't know why I did not think of that one. That is a great comparison.
I'm sorry, Austin. I didn't mean it. I wish you would have found your pot of gold. So, all right, let's go to the bear himself, Joey Bosa. What you got?
Oh, dude, this should be low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Cocaine bear.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. That's perfect.
Cocaine bear, man. That's, just jazz a bear up, nasty, unstoppable. What are you going to do? How are you going to stop this guy when he's healthy and not on cocaine? Obviously.
I like that. Cocaine bear. I love it. I went with, and also I'm not taking cheap shots, guys. It's just, I couldn't help but think of this movie, and I don't know why. I'm sorry, Joey. I went with It. And the reason I went with It is because I'm not going to lie. You saw it. We saw it. He acted like a clown at the end of that playoff game, right? But he's still scary as shit. And you don't want to go near him. And you kind of want him on your team if you're a bad guy. So I had to go with It.
I like it.
Killer clown. So
I like it.
All right, JC Jackson, what you got?
Oh, dude, Reanimator, 1985.
Dude, that was my number. That was my number one. That was my number one. Okay. Awesome.
How is it not Reanimator?
Yeah, it's got to be
Reanimator. I actually had a couple of more ideas, but there's one specifically that I originally had for JC Jackson. And I thought, no, I got that idea for a different one. But dude, how is it not Reanimator?
It's definitely Reanimator.
Given everything that he has gone through between last season and right now, total candidate for comeback player of the year. This is definitely Reanimator.
I love it. Wow, perfect. We lined up perfectly on that one. And then this is the hard one. This is the one I had the toughest time with. Dick or the Kicker. What do you have for a horror movie for Dick or the Kicker?
This was very hard for me, and this might even be a stretch. And to be perfectly honest, this isn't even necessarily a horror movie that I actually enjoy. But for those of you who have seen the movie Grindhouse, which has both Planet Terror and Death Proof,
yes,
Death Proof definitely being the better of the two films. But if people remember Planet Terror, there's a scene where one of the main characters ends up getting her leg amputated and replaces it with an M4
that's right.
that just ends up being an absolute weapon and starts mowing down a bunch of zombies. How does she fire off this M4 without even pulling the trigger? Who knows? Who cares?
Exactly.
But her leg's a weapon. And in this case, for Dick or the Kicker, it's got to be that.
I love it. That's a great answer. I'm going to go. So I have this theory that Dick or the Kicker is somehow related to Arnold Schwarzenegger. If you look at him smile, look at the teeth. I'm just going to be honest with you, dude. It's just what it is. So I'm going to go Terminator because he's just like, he feels like he's just going to not stop. Like I don't ever feel this comfortable with the kicker where I don't watch the kick. I go to the bathroom, come back, and he made the extra point. You know what I mean? Like that's some real Terminator shit right there, in my opinion.
I like it.
So
I like it. That's good. I will probably never look at Cameron Dick. The same
get ready for that.
Again.
When you see that smile, that's all Schwarzenegger right there, dude. It's all Schwarzenegger.
Yes.
All right, cool. This is the big one. The Team. If the Team was a horror movie, what would it be?
So I actually had 4 answers for this. One that I finally actually decided upon, and I kept going back and forth. So I had Return of the Living Dead in there.
Okay.
Because of all the injuries that took place with this team last year. I had The Exorcist because you gotta just get the demons of that Jacksonville game just out of your stomach. Let's move on from that. Let's get it out. I had The Descent, basically just this team digging themselves in this, proverbial hole that the media likes to kind of put them in and just expect that they're never going to do anything. And then the Chargers really have to literally dig themselves out of and face their demons and finally get out of there. But by just a weird coincidence, from January 14th of last year, which was the Chargers playoff game to Jacksonville, if you do the math and you run January 14th to July 26th, which is the start of training camp, it is almost exactly, it's actually within 3 days of 28 weeks later.
Okay.
28 weeks later.
I love it, dude.
Let's go, dude. Let's turn the page. 28 weeks later, let's roll.
I love it, dude. I love that. I love that you came up with that many. I had two, but the one doesn't really have a great explanation why, but The Ring, man. We're going to bring that home this year. Got to go The Ring. Got to go to The Ring. We're going to get some creepy girls through TVs. Everyone's haunted. It's going to happen.
Dan Wolkins, I would love your optimism right now.
It's The Ring.
Seriously.
It's The Ring.
He would love it.
I thought we were going to win it last year, but hey, Kyle and I make this joke. We keep saying it. Eventually, we're going to be right.
Eventually, it's
going to hit.
The odds are going to play. Yes.
Yeah. Just don't look at our shit for the last 8 years. But Jake, dude, you're the man. I love doing this. We got to do this more often, and
Absolutely,
really appreciate you coming on, brother. We really do.
Anytime, dude. Always appreciate coming on here talking football with you, and now horror movies. I mean, hell, let's just make it a more regular thing, dude. Again, thanks to you and the guys. Appreciate it, and we'll definitely do it again soon.
Let's do it, man. All right, we'll talk to you soon. And yeah, man, have a good off season.
It's funny,
right, man,
when you're talking horror movies, because you're like, horror movies. There so many negative things happen, but somehow you guys found a way to take the horror movie narrative and make them positive for the Charger chat.
Come a little closer. I got to see something. I got to see your eye real quick. Is that a gleam of you wanting to get in on this? Yeah, that's very scary.
Oh, yes.
What you just did was very scary. So it's now your turn, Wool Dog. Justin Herbert, go. Who you got?
Okay.
What's your horror movie?
So it's funny. I had to come up with some variants as well, because I was sitting here watching this going like, shit. Pick one I've got to pick. So I initially, as I was thinking about it, I actually had the ring for Justin Herbert, because it was like, he needs the ring.
Nice.
But I think your answer for the entire team needs
Lord
the ring.
of, that's not horror, but Lord of the Rings.
That's not horror.
No.
So the one that I came up with, and again, props to Jake for not just looking at a movie title and applying
and doing
that
what
to
I
the
did.
player.
Yeah.
Well, it's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. Jake was so on point with that, dude.
Taking the scenes, the actual moments, and applying that to the player. Jake, I bow down to you, dude.
Yeah.
That was perfect. So the one that I came up with for Justin Herbert is a movie. It's kind of a recent movie. It's not my favorite movie by any stretch, but the title, It Comes at Night. I say that for Justin Herbert because we're talking about Justin Primetime Herbert.
Oh, I like
Comes
that.
at night. It Comes at Night. Justin Herbert. That's my movie.
That's a great answer. I like that one too. All right. Next up, Austin Eckler.
All right. Austin Eckler. This one I did kind of have to veer from the title and focus more on okay, this is a movie that a lot of people didn't necessarily know what it was about. It was a very underappreciated movie. It was one that kind of hit people by surprise in the same way that Austin Eckler was. We're talking about an undrafted free agent, came in, wasn't even drafted, and then all of a sudden he's got a contract with the Chargers for, I think it was 4 years was what we signed him up for. So I'm talking about the Blair Witch Project, the movie that nobody really saw coming, but then when it hit, it exploded, as Austin Eckler has these past couple seasons, topping the touchdown charts. So that's mine for Austin Eckler, the Blair Witch Project. Get out of the corner. Get out of the corner. I'm just going to, I don't want to move my camera, but I'd make it fall over if I could.
Okay. Joey Bosa.
All right. Now, Jake took this one, the Cocaine Bear. That was the freaking perfect one for Joey Bosa, but I had a backup because if there's anybody on this team that gets a little crazy more than anybody else, it feels like it's Joey Bosa. So I went with the Psycho.
Nice.
Joey Bosa, Psycho. He's a madman. He's crazy. Joey Bosa.
And he loves his mom.
Psycho. And he loves his mom.
Loves her.
Loves her.
Okay. JC Jackson.
All right. So JC Jackson, I agree. Reanimator was
the move.
That's the perfect one. I also had The Exorcist for him as well, just because he had to exercise hey man, I'm on this new team. I'm coming in, and then boom, I'm down.
Exercise the tendon.
Exercise the tendon. Yes. But the other one that I initially thought for him, which I think, again, I don't even know if I need to spin this or not, but the one that I came up for him was Jeepers Creepers, was because I think of more of that kind of there's a lore behind him. We've seen what he can do. He's had the most interceptions, but we haven't had a chance to necessarily see that yet. So I'm hoping little Jeepers Creepers
action. Jackson. Where'd you get that football? JC Jackson picking it out of the air.
So there you go. Jeepers Creepers. That's mine for JC Jackson.
Beautiful. I really like that movie too. I remember seeing that in
That's
theaters
a great
and being
movie.
like, holy
Yeah.
shit, this is intense.
It was terrifying.
It was really scary, especially the ending. That's one of the all-time like terrible, horrifying endings.
Bleak endings.
Bleak.
Yeah.
All right, Dick or the Kicker.
All right, Dick or the Kicker. Thank God neither one of you said this one. There's been so much talk, and from myself included, about we have Dustin Hopkins, we have Dick or the Kicker. How are we going to make a decision? Who are we going to pick? Well, we need to let the right one in. The Swedish horror film, Let the Right One In, Dick or the Kicker. I think he's the right one that we need to let in. Let's let him in.
That's really funny. That's a good one. That's a good one. Okay. All right. Last but not least, the team. What do you got?
All right. Now the team, this is one where I had 3 as well. And God bless you guys. Neither one of you said any of these.
Nice.
Initially, I thought Lights Out, because we need to have a lights out type mentality. That's what this team needs. I also had Attack the Block, which is a more recent kind of alien-y kind of horror movie. British.
Defend our territory kind of energy.
We got to attack the block.
Yeah.
We got to take care of our hometown. We got to fight for LA, they say. But I think the one that we got to pick, because I think it has a lot more ties to the podcast than most realize yet, is Jaws. Got to be Jaws. We got to be the team that nobody sees coming, but when we attack, we make a mark.
Yeah.
We are something to be reckoned with. And when you're not going to hear it, you're not going to see it. You're just going to have that. That's the Chargers team. It's not going to be, people are going to take us down. They're going to say the Chargers, they're not Super Bowl contenders.
They're just a fish.
It's just a fish. Come on. It's summer. We got to open these beaches.
Go swimming.
Everybody goes swimming. It's fine.
Yeah.
They're just the Chargers.
Yeah.
And then they get them.
Guess who the Kittner boy is going to be?
I don't know. Who is it? Patrick Mahomes?
Tua.
Oh, Tua.
Week 1, baby. Eat them up. Nom, 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 nom. Let's go.
His mom just comes up and slaps Brandon
Staley. What have you done to my boy? You knew the Chargers were here all along and you did nothing?
The Kittner boy.
Yeah.
He's just a boy.
Yep.
All right. Well, this
fitting
was
that
fun.
It's a dolphin we're going to eat. I love that.
There you go. Exactly. Oh, man. Well, that was a lot of fun. I loved everything else you had to say there, Jake, as far as like Kellen Moore. I think that's the one thing, too, that we haven't really talked about a lot this off season is the issues. We had a lot of issues last season, but the one that I think was really amazing was our inefficiency in the red zone.
Yeah.
And mentioning that really brought back like a lot of like, oh man, yeah, that was it wasn't a guarantee that we were going to get a touchdown when we got in the red zone. It was really frustrating. So I'm really excited to see what Kellen Moore does with this offense and to see what they do. But that horror movie comparison, that was so much fun.
Yeah.
And again, Jake, you killed it, man. As far as like the Child's Play 2 one, that was
next level.
That was so freaking perfect. That was, that can't be topped.
No. I think we got to bring him back again around Halloween for whoever we're playing and do another version.
Yes.
See what happens. Let's get you in it with me and we'll all do it together.
Count me in.
Cinephile.
100% in. Jake, thank you for coming on and sitting with Kev. That was just a bunch of fun for this doldrum off season.
Yeah.
Basically, like you said. But now, folks, it is time to go on to the next segment. It is Ask Boltfam. Again, I cannot believe how many questions we got in like 2 days.
Yeah.
You guys are amazing. So let's just get to it.
Time to put your money where your mouth is.
Hi, guys. Don't jam a thumb up his butthole. That's what you do. I wet myself in excitement. Oh, so hungry.
Your thoughts are like totally appreciated.
Catch you later, dude.
Okay, love you, boy.
That's right, folks. Time for Ask Boltfam. And we start off with Swipa Graphics, who asked the question.
Hell yeah.
What's the best 4th of July meal? Also, would you rather have Herbert's brisket or
Papa Duggan's full course 4th of July meal. Anywho, fuck the Raiders, bolt the fuck up, and K-love you, bye. All right.
4th of July. Yeah.
It's the 4th of July.
And I'm in Croatia, and they don't celebrate the 4th of July here.
When was the last time you had a 4th of July meal?
It's been a minute. I will say my dad is a pretty good on the grill.
He is. Yes, I've had it.
But brisket for Herbert's brisket, that means I have to get it from him and I'd meet him. So that's an easy answer for me.
Right.
I know Dave. I've lived with him most of my life. Like,
you've had years of Papa Duggan's full course 4th of July meal.
Slightly burnt hamburgers, sliders. I've had those.
Man.
Hey, he does make a good, like the Hawaiian roll, like the little Hawaiian rolls, and he puts little patties on. Not all of them. They're not equally cooked all the time. They're really good, though. Little sweet bread and butter pickle on it. Fucking knock it out of the park,
Look at
Dave.
that. They're little patties.
Little patties.
All right.
What are you eating? What are you eating, Walter?
I mean, just in general, the best 4th of July meal is for me, it's a barbecued hot dog, a nice thick one.
Glizzy.
A big thick glizzy. I mean, like back in the day, I don't know what happened to these hot dogs. This is a bit of a tangent. Hebrew National used to make, they were called beef knockwurst. They were the best hot dogs that you could buy at the store. They're gone now. I don't know what happened to them, and I've not done a simple Google search. Might just tell me like, oh, they were poisoned or something like that.
12 people died.
Beef
knockwurst.
That might be the clue, but I don't know what happened to them. They were the best hot dogs. So one of those barbecued, got some nice char on there. Barbecue, put a little char on the buns, some potato chips, some watermelon,
nice cold beer, and some fireworks.
Cold beer. Oh God, come on, sign me up.
Cannibal.
And yes, Papa Duggan does make great.
He does. And he makes
food.
Homemade French fries. It's okay. Everyone can make homemade French fries. My dad makes pretty awesome homemade French fries. It's a simpleton item, but it's very delicious.
Yeah, but you can't say no to Herbert's brisket.
No, I can't.
You can't. I can easily say no to Papa Duggan. I can't say no to Herbert.
Sorry, Dad.
All right. Well, Swiper Graphics, thank you for asking the question. Let's move it on now to Mr. Peck R, who asked the question. Chargers social media posted some pictures of my boys from the Bolts with some fish they caught while fishing. Needless to say, it was epic. The best part is that they picked the smallest fish for Justin Herbert to be holding. However, the Chargers social media team is at it again. The fish he is holding is called a sheep shed, and its slang name is goat. You see where I'm going with this? Our goat is holding a goat. Justin freaking the goat Herbert. But anyways, can someone please get me a meeting with these Chargers that love fishing? I work at a fishing company in Southern California. Come on, man. Can the Charger Chat make this happen? If so, would you guys join us all on a private charter to help sway your minds that fishing is boring? Answering this next question, to count of 3, who would catch the biggest fish between the 3 of you? Happy 4th of July, Charger Chat. To all my fellow Charger Chatteteers out there, stay safe, stay bolted, and most importantly, stay sexy, you savage beasts. BTFU, FTR, and K, I love you, bye.
1, 2,
3.
Kyle.
Me.
Sorry, I got to bring the shitty Kyle energy for this episode. So Kyle's the best at everything, and he'd catch the most fish.
He said facetiously.
No, but dude, private charter. I love fishing. Let's go.
Awesome.
All day.
Way to catch the freaking goat reference.
Though. That was pretty. That's a fisherman.
That's somebody who knows.
That's his
fish.
trade. He knows what that is and what that means, and I love that. And I wish I could help you with getting this to Justin.
I wish we had some sway over Justin Herbert's fishing choice, but
we could get like one of those like planes where you drag a banner behind it, find out area that he lives in, put a phone number on it, come fishing, like something like that. That's all I can think of right now. Mr. Petcar. I really feel like I'm going to try and find a way to connect you guys somehow. I don't know how, but I'm going to try.
Yeah. But I mean, as far as like getting a group out there, that really should be easy. So anybody that's listening right now, reach out to Mr. Petcar if you're looking to go fishing, because that's clearly the guy who knows his fish. All right, Mr. Petcar, thank you.
Thanks, brother,
for asking the question. Let's move it on now to Tom Telesco's burner account, who asked the question. Hey, y'all, what's good? It's me, Ladanian. I think we should all have hope that we're going to the Super Bowl this year. This is the best roster since our 06-09 days. Okay, bolt up, y'all, and you have a good one. Oh, yeah, and Q Johnston is my boy from TCU. Really is him. Oh, I still need to ask a question, fam. Okay, what is your guys' favorite type of taco? I like them all. Okay, bolt up and stay classy. You Ladanian Tomlinson? Like,
hey,
like,
you tried.
I tried. Don't know. You know, like if Ladanian talked like Porky Pig, then maybe we might have something, but
Ladanian as Porky Pig.
He's just a regular guy with a regular voice, so I don't know how else to spin that. But yes, I love that the mention of Q Johnston. Absolutely. I think he is the guy.
Yeah.
But a favorite type of taco, I didn't know there was more than one.
Crunchy,
I thought it was just...
soft, crunchy, soft.
Okay.
Where you at?
Okay. Oh, you're opening my eyes.
Oh.
I didn't think.
You can see clearly now.
But I didn't take the crunch factor into consideration.
Yeah.
I got to go back to the blackboard. I don't know. Soft taco is actually pretty freaking good, because it's usually like, I don't know, when I think of a soft taco, I think of like really good meat.
Yeah.
I love me some good meat in my tacos.
I love the crunch, dude. I love
crunch is great. Don't get me wrong.
But they got to be good. They can't be like the store-bought shells. Those things suck.
Yeah.
It's got to be like homemade, like really good. Like San Diego had so many good like taco Mexican places that like, holy shit, like next level. Carne asada taco, that's my go-to. And I will throw down like a fish taco though. I do like me a fish taco.
Nice. Okay. Well, there you go. Tom Telesco's burner account.
Thanks,
Thank
brother.
you for asking the question. Let's move it on now to Athir Kadir.
Athir!
Who asked the question?
Kadir.
Well, Dog, this is my great question for the coach, baby. Will Justin accept it if the new OC wants him to do 3-step drop and ball if my defense can't do nothing? Montana was the best to do it. I love you. Bye. FTR, baby. Let's go.
First of all, sorry, Kyle's not here.
Sorry.
Kyle's not here right now, but if you'd like to leave a message. Yeah, as far as whether, what does he normally do? I don't know. Does he not normally?
I guess the question is if he wants him to do a 3-step drop, just like get the ball out quicker. Yeah, but I think our offensive line can absolutely give him some time to let some shit develop. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to, again, this is all the point every year is that everybody's got to stay healthy, and that includes the offensive linemen. You know, losing Rashawn Slater last year was a big ding. And we even had, Lindsley go down for a while. We had to bring in Will Clapp.
Yeah.
And it was just, there was some roughness to our offensive line. So if they can stay healthy, then obviously Justin Herbert can take all the time he needs.
Well, and Justin's the kind of guy who's going to take what they give him. So if it's like they start putting an umbrella over the top of the coverage and start, keeping all that shit down, he's going to get it out quick. He's going to get that, the chunk stuff. And you got guys like, our first round pick who yards after catch are next level. So get him the ball, let him do something with it. So I don't see that as a big deal in Montana. Yeah. Good.
If Montana can do it, Herbert can do it for sure.
For sure.
So, all right. Well, Athir, I don't know if that was the answer you wanted. We'll check in with Coach when he comes back. But thank you for asking the question.
Thanks,
Let's
brother.
move it on now to High Voltage, who asked the question. Guten Tag. I'm a mad German scientist who has built the world's greatest cloning machine. Being an uber Chargers fan, I will let you clone one Chargers player from the current roster. Who will you clone? Perhaps you clone Rashawn Slater so you can have him play right tackle and left tackle at the same time? Or maybe you clone Joey Bosa so he could rush from both edges? Or perhaps you clone Justin Herbert so you have the ultimate QB insurance. I'll be over here eating
eating a schnitzel while you decide. Choose wisely. Auf Wiedersehen.
I love the German. Anytime the Germans.
Oh, yeah.
Is my favorite.
All right. Well, this is a fun hypothetical, like cloning a current player. Cause I mean, we've always talked about like bringing previous players back and stuff like that, but cloning somebody that's already there to kind of help out.
I feel strongly about this.
Okay.
Derwin James as the free and the strong. Get out of my face. You're not catching shit.
Get out of my face.
Get out of my face. Could you imagine 2 Derwin James roaming the back of that defense?
Man,
That'd
just
be
like
annihilation.
Just like a lion just prowling in the back, both of them.
Yeah.
Just they're on the same page. They know what they're thinking and they know what's going to happen. It'd be a shutdown defense.
James the first, James the second.
Dunzo.
Let's go. Hopefully it's not that clone thing. You know, you've all seen Multiplicity. The more you clone, the more kind of like,
oh, it's true.
Not quite the sharpest of the bunch. So you got to kind of set him up, maybe play next to the green dot so we can tell him where to be if he's not quite at the level. But physicality is there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, boy, that's a good answer. I struggle to think of a comparable answer. I do like the idea of Rashawn Slater at both sides, but like, I mean, I'll say that just so it could be different, but damn, 2 Derwin James. That's hard to hard to argue with.
And I wouldn't mind for like the insurance purposes, a Corey Lindsley, a second one, just waiting in the wings.
That's a good one too.
I'd feel a lot better about our offensive line if there was like another Corey Lindsley just waiting to come in.
Right. Yeah, that center is such an important position.
So important.
Yeah. Good answers. God, Kevin stealing all the good answers.
Sorry.
No, they.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. I'll give you spankings later.
Okay.
Hi, Boltage. Thank you for asking the question. Let's move on now to the K-Man, who asked the question.
What are the chances the Chargers bring back Bryce Callahan? In my opinion, he was doing well at the end of the season. They might be able to get a sweetheart deal on him. Thanks, and I love you, boy.
It's hard to say. It sounds like they're kind of interested in their young guys and developing them further. You know what I mean? Callahan kind of felt like a one year where they kind of needed to fill it in. I don't know. It'd be cool to have him back, but I don't know if one of these younger guys has already stepped up and kind of taken that spot already, you know?
Yeah, I think if I were to channel my inner Kyle right now, I would say that if they wanted him back, they would have done it by now.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. In the same sense that, you know, when we found out that Kyle Van Noy wasn't going to be coming back, in the way that he was like, yeah, they don't want me back.
Yeah.
I think the same could be said for Callahan. They probably have him on speed dial, like as a just in case situation, because obviously he played with the team. Yeah, ripcord situation. But I think if they wanted him back, they would have had him back by now. And I have to agree. I think that they feel pretty confident in the team that they have now, especially getting JC Jackson back. I mean, having Bryce Callahan last year might not have even been a thing if JC Jackson didn't get the injury that he got.
You can move ASJ in.
Yeah, so you've got ASJ, you've got JC Jackson, you've got Mike Davis, and any other of the rookie pool that could come in and play in any of those spots. Yeah. So I don't think that he would come back. I would like you. I would love to see him back, K-Man, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So great question, though. Thank you for asking it. Let's move it on now to Rebolted 2006. Who asked the question?
Happy 4th of July weekend, Charger Chat crew and all the Bolt fam out there. Question. If Rivers were still in his prime with the team we have now, do you think we'd go deeper in the playoffs and take it all? Or if you switch Rivers with Herbert during 2006-2019 and sit behind Breeze for the first 2 years, do you think we'd have Super Bowl rings? I ask this because people demand Herbert take control of the offense and be a leader, which keeps him from being elite. Screw what the coach says, the offense during the game mentality. With that said, Rivers embodies all that. So if we put Rivers with the team today, do we win it all if that's their take? That's a question to ponder. I would say it the other way as well. Or could all this have been avoided if we had signed Rivers to a 1-year contract, let Herbert learn a year, and Rivers would have already retired a Charger, and Herbert would have been a PG trash talker with 3 kids already on the way? That may be one of the biggest blunders the Chargers could have ever made.
That and firing a 14-2 coach. Have safe travels and holidays, all of you. K, love you, bye.
It's a crazy hypothetical because you're kind of having to weigh your love for both the quarterbacks at the same time. And do you think one would do better with the other? I don't pick up the whole like he's not verbal enough, and that's why we're not doing well. The Lindsay theory. Ew. The Lindsay theory. I don't fully support that. So, but yeah, dude, like, but it's gotta be said. Like, if you have Phil Rivers hit that first year, you don't have the best rookie year of all time because Phil doesn't get hurt. Phil doesn't get shots.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not getting the rookie.
Phil is the Black Knight of the Monty Python and the Holy Grail. He'll gum you to death if he has to do
flesh
it.
Wound.
Yeah.
Like, he's still playing if he gets shot in the heart. You know what I mean? It's still happening. So I think it worked out the way it needed to work out. I would have loved that just as like from the outside looking in, but
absolutely,
it kind of needed to happen the way it happened. It'd be cool if he was a little PG trash talker, but that's just not him, dude. There's a lot of quarterbacks that haven't been talkers that, Eli Manning, the guy can't talk. He did not talk on the field. He was the quietest guy, and he's got 2 Super Bowls. So let's let him do his thing. Let him catch his rhythm, and I think he'll be great. 4th year, and like I always say this, 4th year in college, he won his Rose Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get his 4th year in the as a Charger. Let's see what happens.
I love that. Yeah, we all love Phil Rivers. We love what Phil Rivers brought to the game, the character that he brought. But like Kevin said, that's just not who Justin is. And if anything, I think that's great. I think it's a way for him to separate himself from somebody like Philip Rivers, because if he came out and did the exact same thing, I think we would have different expectations. I think we would have different feelings. And I love the idea of him sitting behind Phil Rivers. Like the idea of him learning more from Phil than he did from Tyrod Taylor, like that in your mind, in the alternate universe, it's like, man, that would be amazing.
Cool.
That would have been so freaking cool. Imagine how much he could have learned from like one of the GOATs. And it just didn't happen. But like Kevin said, we wouldn't live in the multiverse that we do right now, where Justin Herbert gets Offensive Rookie of the Year, breaks all the records that he did. So it's an interesting thought, and I get it, and I love it. But I also love Justin Herbert. I love what he is right now. And like Kevin said, I don't necessarily agree that he's not the talkative leader.
The theory. Like, he is clearly the guy that, like, if you go back and watch from especially his rookie year, the whole like I was in, like, he's screaming it. He's not just going like, pardon me,
excuse me, I think I was in.
Yeah,
I think you might want to recheck the replay because I believe I was in. And he was like, no, I was in.
Yeah,
I was in. Like, that was him. Like, and I think just because we don't necessarily see it or hear it, I mean, that's the thing. Justin Herbert has never been mic'd up during a game. We've had him mic'd up during practice.
He's not going to
never been mic'd up during a game. What do you think the reason behind that is? Do you think he's just shy and bashful, or do you think he?
Because it'd be the movie The Artist. There would be no talking. It'd be all just action. That's all it would be. It'd be a silent movie from the 30s.
I don't think that's true. I think that there's some actual genuine gems that he would say. I think personally, there's almost kind of more of a mystery to it. It's like taking it back to the horror movie thing. Like, the bad guy is so much scarier when you can't see him, or you don't know where he is, and you don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert is so much scarier. He is Jaws when you don't see him and you don't know what he's doing, and then boom, he hits you with a freaking 72-yard touchdown or something like that.
90-yard touchdown.
Yeah. Yeah. So, hey, great hypothetical, great question. Rebolted 2006. Thank you for
Happy
asking
4th,
it.
buddy.
Happy 4th of July. Let's move it on now to Zachary Shelton, who asked the question. If you could make any change to the uniform, which would you change? Now I'm going to come out at this with one I would remove and one I would be okay with. I'm not a fan of the white jerseys. I feel like they're kind of boring. I would make the powder blue the away jerseys and then have navy and royal be the home jerseys. I wouldn't mind if they added the yellow jerseys that I've seen around for away games, or even the rumored black jerseys for home games. All right.
Yeah,
well,
they are pretty colorless. I'm not going to lie. The whites are pretty white.
Well, the whites are white, and I I understand. I get the idea of like, it's boring. I don't know, man. The white out, like when the white on white, like white jersey, white pants, like there's something kind of special about that. It's very clean.
Yeah.
You know, you could say it's boring or you could say it's clean. I'm going to say it's clean.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily have the same feeling about that. I'm surprised that they like with all the jerseys from other teams where they have these throwback jerseys. If Pittsburgh can do these freaking bumblebee ass jerseys,
yeah,
why haven't the Chargers tried to do like the old cool powder blue, like the retro kind of jerseys? Like, I don't know if it's because like now they're in LA and they just kind of want, it's not that they're turning their back on San Diego, but it's like, hey man, it's a new generation, it's a new town, new team. We're starting a new path and we're not referencing the old, or maybe just more time needs to pass. Like maybe it's still too fresh that, you know, we're less than a decade removed from leaving San Diego, that we need to have more time so that it doesn't quite sting as much.
Yeah.
For going back to some of those cool retro alternate jerseys. But I'm with you. I think like there should be some kind of special, you know, the ones that we have right now. I love the royal blue. I love the navy. I love the powder blue. I love the white. And I love the yellow pants. So to me, I wouldn't necessarily change anything. I saw this too, like the whole black jersey nonsense. Like,
no,
I don't get that.
No,
I don't get the idea of bringing black into the fray. Like, I guess
thank you.
Black is always kind of like the cool looking color, but that's just not what the Chargers are. They've never had that kind of color incorporated into their jerseys.
Yeah.
Except for merchandise. I've seen a couple merchandise jerseys where they've been like black
and they
with
don't
like
look
yellow
right.
letters.
They don't look right. When I'm wearing a jersey and I want to walk into the stadium, I want it to be powder blue. Like I'm not buying a white jersey. I'm buying powder blue. So I am fully with you on getting rid of the whites, making powder blue the away, and then doing something special at home. I think that's awesome. I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Maybe not the navy, just because we don't fare very well in the navy. I'd love to flip that, but
we gotta flip that. That has to change.
Yeah, totally. But
because I'd like the navy jersey, but man, we gotta win one in those jerseys, please.
What I haven't seen what this combo looks like, but what if you did you did white with powder blue pants?
White with powder blue pants.
How would that look with the gold bolt on the side?
Oh yeah.
Just a thought. Just a thought. Maybe it doesn't work.
There's a lot of combos with the current colors that they have that they really haven't tried playing with. Because like the Royals and the Navies, like those are color rush uniforms, so they're all the same color. But if you can incorporate those in a mix and match with the pants and in the shirt or the jersey rather, I think that would be interesting to see. Okay. So,
but hard pass on the black for me. Hard pass.
Yeah, hard pass on the black, man. I get it. They're cool looking, but that's just not us. That ain't it.
Too Raidery.
Yeah. Zachary Shelton, thank you for asking the question. Let's move it on now to Danny Lags, who asked the question. Hey, yo, young bucks. Did you see maybe all black unis? Hey, we were just talking about that. Kevin and Kyle, what's the food drink menu looking like when golfing? Maybe a glizzy at the turn? My dog, Wool Dog, how do we get the Bluebeard back? What's a good first game for the season ritual at Thunder Alley? LFG CC.
Some good questions in here. You went full out. For one, no black unis. No.
We saw it. We saw the rendition.
I just don't think so.
Yeah, no.
Honestly, golfing, it's really just beer. Like there's not a lot. Like that's what we eat and drink.
It's more drink than food.
You throw a couple bags of Sun Chips or some Doritos at the turn. You're not eating a whole meal. Yeah, that's kind of what you're getting at the turn. Whatever's on the, that little thing with like you pinch the chips, you pull them off. That's kind of what we do. We don't really think it too far. We're just so excited that we're together playing that it's like, all right, well, forgot to eat. Sorry, honey.
But we got a cooler full of beers.
Yeah, we're good. But yeah, that's that for golfing.
Yeah. The Bluebeard, I got to exercise the Bluebeard because when we did it was for that Jaguars game. And
I still think you go kilt, dude. I think we got to take that back.
I want to draw more attention up here, not so much down here.
Okay.
So I kind of want to bring the Bluebeard back, and maybe I'll bring that back for the week one. I don't know. Because I feel like it has to it's got to be clean, because like if we lose again with the blue beard, I'm gonna feel like dog shit. I'm gonna feel terrible
for sure.
Yeah, I might just like rip it off my face at the stadium.
Oh God.
And it'll be sad. There'll be a lot of tears, a lot of blood. But I'd love to bring it back. I'd love for it to be a thing. So maybe we'll see. But and then a good first game of the season ritual. First game of the season ritual. We've been to the prior to first home openers, and we haven't really set a ritual.
Rituals are only good as long as they work. So you can
true.
There's a couple ways you can start off. One, if you wear a jersey when you watch the Charger games, pick the same undershirt every week. Lock it in. Lock that in.
Yeah.
You could go underwear. It's another energy. It's up to you. I just try and pick an item that you wear on game one and carry that until it doesn't work, and find something else.
Until it don't work no more.
It don't work no more, then find something else.
Well, I mean, hey, if any of you guys have a good first game of the season rituals, let us know, because we might
go to the game. That could be it. That's our
going
kind
to
of
the
ritual.
game is that
our
is
home
a
opener
ritual.
Yeah.
And we have kept it alive for 2 years, going on 3.
Let's go.
We'll see what we can do. But yeah, if you guys have thoughts on good first game of the season rituals, let us know. Put them down in the comments.
Hell yeah.
Danny Lags, thank you for asking the question. Let's move on now to Justin Sabercool.
Justin,
who asked the question.
All right. No more bullshit. Who's winning in a UFC-style cage fight? Kevin or Kyle? Also, Adam, if possible, give stats of both brothers. Miss you guys. Can't wait to see you this season. Game on it. Bye.
Oh, I miss Justin. Looking forward to that first game, brother. Bring that energy.
All right.
I guess this is a much easier debate today, really. This is really nice and comfortable. I feel
there's no one to fight with.
I feel confident here.
It's a no contest.
I trained a little jiu-jitsu, so I could get it to the ground. I think stand-up, we're about equal. Neither one of us have like taken boxing or anything, so it's just going to be like haymakers.
Yeah.
So this could go either way. It really could. I think my undying hate for losing to Kyle could bring up an extra like dad energy or like dad power that, you know, the ref might call it done and I won't be finished. That kind of thing.
I won't be finished.
I'm going to cover those fucking ankles.
All right. Well, the only thing that I could say is I've wrestled Kev. Granted, this was back in like the college days.
06?
Back at the what was that?
Hamlin house.
I don't think it was. I think Hamlin was the apartment that we lived in.
No, Hamlin was the shitty house that we had.
Was that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
With the swamp cooler air conditioner.
Oh God, that was the worst.
In the valley. It was brutal.
But we did have a backyard, and there was a night where Kevin
we're watching it was a UFC night. We're gonna fucking wrestle.
And I was like, no, I don't want to. He's like, come on, dude. I'm like, okay, fine. And sure enough, he kicked my ass. So this isn't an open invitation, Kyle, for you to come and wrestle me so I could be like, well, Kevin beat me faster.
Hey, if you know my strength and my power, I think the easiest way to compare it would be for Kyle to wrestle you.
I don't want that. I'm sure I'm older, I'm fatter, and I'm worse for wear. So I don't want that. But yeah, hey, I would. I'd have to side with Kevin just because I know it. I've experienced it. But
and Kyle's not here.
And Kyle's not here to defend himself. Exactly. So here we are.
Great week to ask this, Justin. I really appreciate your timing.
Justin, thank you for asking the question. Let's move it on now to JTex03, who asked the question. Being in SoCal, you definitely feel a presence of other teams during home games. The sheer volume of people in Los Angeles and the city not having a team for so long can do that. Do you think that if the Chargers win a Super Bowl, we will see a monumental shift in home crowds? I've been to StubHub when the move happened to now being a season ticket holder at SoFi, and I can see the difference and feel the presence. Bonus question. Here's a rough one. Justin Herbert is an elite QB. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So was Rivers, but he never won a ring. If Herbert was destined to have the same fate as Rivers, as long as he's a Charger, would you want him to be a Charger forever? Or if he switches, there is a 100% he will win, but he can never be a Chargers again or retire a Charger. And the Chargers will not honor/work with him in any way, shape, or form. Sorry, I know Kyle will try to find a loophole. As always, f*** the Raiders. They love you. Bye.
And welcome back, J-Tex. I'm looking through our little database, and last time we heard from you was, I think, episode 177. So,
wow,
welcome back, my friend.
Welcome back.
With a banger, a real banger of a question,
a real head scratcher.
Yeah.
As far as the first question, if the Chargers come win a Super Bowl, will we see a monumental shift in home crowds? Absolutely.
Oh yeah, and it's
Super Bowl will do that for any team.
And it's
especially the Chargers.
It's happening right now, man. Like from when, because I went to StubHub games every year they were there, and where we are now, what is this, year 3 we're going into, fans being at SoFi.
With fans being there, yeah.
It's just like at each game I go to, there's more Charger fans, and it's louder, and we understand the rhythm. We understand when stuff happens. It's just like, I don't know. It was just a matter of time. It was just going to take time to build it up, and it will go over the top. I think the Chargers are doing it a little differently than the Rams. It just doesn't feel like the Rams have quite the fan base. I'm seeing a lot of fans like the Rams fans selling the tickets online and stuff. So I think they got their Super Bowl, and then they kind of, did it and had to lose all their players.
Hard though. Yeah.
They threw all their money at winning that Super Bowl, and now they don't have the product on the field. I think our guys were set up to have product on the field for a much longer, and that's way more fun to watch, especially when you have Justin Herbert. Like that's just, you tune in, you want to see what the highlight's going to be. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, you've already seen the shift. And so, yeah, if a Super Bowl happens, especially for a team that has never won a Super Bowl, it would be huge. It would be sellouts for every game. 100%.
Yeah.
But then your bonus question, this hypothetical of Justin Herbert following the same career path as Rivers, of being just an amazing quarterback, but never winning a ring.
This is the hardest question I think I've ever heard.
Or if he switches, he will win a ring, but he can never be a Charger or retire a Charger. This is basically like, do we want to take the glory away from Justin Herbert of ever winning a Super Bowl? And I say yes. As a selfish Charger fan,
he stays a Charger.
Yeah, he stays a Charger.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
I mean, as much as I love Justin Herbert and I would love for him to win it, he's got to win it with us. I'm sorry. Like, he's got to win it with us. And I know the hypothetical says that he doesn't win a ring, but the argument of, having Justin Herbert for an entire career to do amazing things. I guess I know it's all about winning the ring. I hate this question. Now that I think about it, now the Chargers, it guarantees the Chargers never win a ring.
But then,
for as long as Justin Herbert's a quarterback.
But then you're asking, like, if you're guaranteeing he won't win, and you could probably trade the elite quarterback to get a quarterback that could win.
Yeah,
I guess there's something fucked up to think about in there too. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna have to go with D, all the above on this one, because I don't have a good answer. It kind of makes me sad.
The way that I just talked myself into it, of him never winning a ring, means the Chargers never win a ring for the entirety that we have Justin Herbert.
For 10 more years.
For 10 more years. And if the goal is to win a ring, as much as I love then Justin Herbert, then we would have to let him go if we can't win a ring.
If you could see in the future you're not going to want to win a championship with him, then you have to.
Then you'd have to let him go. Yeah. But that's,
well, you did a full 180 on that.
I did, because, well, in my mind, it was just like, no, he needs to stay a Charger because I love Justin Herbert.
I'm a Charger.
I've got all of his jerseys
and
Chargers and his trading cards and stuff, but and his soap. But that would just mean that the Chargers couldn't win a ring, and the Chargers need to be able to win a ring. Yeah. So, in that weird hypothetical, then yes, you let him go. But I don't foresee that happening.
No, we're gonna win a ring with him.
This has been such a huge change, a huge everything. It's got to happen. So JTex03, thank you for asking that question. Let's move it on now to Kyle Goodwin, who asked the question: if you were able to communicate with a player in their dreams, who would it be? What would you tell them? You have the power to do whatever you want in these dreams. Just don't be too kinky, Kevin. Please. What is?
I don't know.
Is that your kinky face?
Bedroom eyes.
No wonder you have 4 boys. Who could say no to that face?
Yes.
That's awesome. All right. Well, this is an interesting question because it's like Inception. It's the movie Inception where you could communicate with somebody and kind of incept a thought. I don't know.
I don't think I have good enough
idea.
thoughts to implant in any of these people to like
Right.
make them better.
Yeah, I mean, I can't just go in the dream and be like, do better.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they are better.
I think the only way this would work is if they're like going to bed before a big game and they're stressed out, and I can go in there and like make a fart joke or like fart or something. Like kind of like they wake up with a smile and then their day is good. And that day being the day they win us the Super Bowl, like I'd jump in and whisper to, and probably have to be to Justin, like, I don't know, something funny. Something funny.
Something funny. Hey, Justin.
Hey.
Knock, knock.
Yeah. Like, straight up dad joke.
Yeah. Man, yeah. I mean, if you could see in the future and like prevent an injury or something like that, to tell them like, hey,
in the second
on this
quarter,
play, don't plant your right leg or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't think of what else I would say, because like, I don't necessarily want to calm anybody down. Everybody's got to come out there with like a ferocity of like, we want to win. Like, you don't want to be like, hey man, chill out.
Can I go into like a Chiefs dream? Like a Patrick Mahomes?
You know what?
Really,
it doesn't say not a Charger player, so I will allow it.
Yeah. So I would go in there and tell Patrick Mahomes, you are a stupid looking piece of shit and you're not going to win today.
Yeah.
You're not going to win today.
I would go into every other opposing team.
You know
player
what also sucks?
and just like run around naked and like, you know,
windmill.
just like teabag them all and everything like that. And just like, and like scream exorcist lines at them. Like,
just make it really creepy and unsettling. So I'd like to go on both sides. Smile for my team, cold sweat coming out of that dream for the opponent.
Yeah.
Especially Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
I
like it.
What injury are you going to fake in this game, Pat? Hey, Pat. Hey, Pat, what hurts right now?
Hey, Pat.
Your knee.
Do you see it? Because you got to believe it.
I'll believe it. I'll see it when I believe it. Nerd.
All right. Well, great question, Kyle. I'm sorry we couldn't think of anything. I like the idea of doing it to opposing players. I think that's way more fun.
Yeah.
But thank you for asking the question. And we go out of Ask Boltfam with Boltville 714, who asked the question. Hello, Boltfam. So I was super stoned by the time Craig's segment came on in the last episode, and his intro inspired this question. So pretend that each of you somehow got transported to an alternate universe where each of you got to meet the female versions of the other two while replacing your own counterpart, a female, with a remaining male. What would your names be? What would each of you guys be like? And what would be similar to what would be different? What would be your best features? Have fun with it, boys. I mean, ladies, ha! And say hello to the brisket dudes for us in these alternate universes. FTR and K, love you, bye. All right, well, there's a lot to unpack here.
Big time.
As far as like there being female versions of each other,
I think
I guess the podcast would be sexier.
It would be much sexier. So much sexier. Kyle, if he was a lady, he'd be more of like a Karen, you know, like not our Karen, but just kind of like a shittier, like kind of let me talk to your manager kind of energy. I kind of see that as a Kyle. And then I kind of see you as kind of like, I don't know, like my cool aunt who's like funny. Like my older aunt that's like
be more
funny.
like Melissa McCarthy or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Just the
yeah, Karen and
the
Melissa.
goofy lady.
And no offense, Karen, I love you, Karen. I didn't mean that.
And I would 100% be like a crazy cat lady.
Oh,
like,
I
already have 2 cats. I'd probably have like 10.
There'd be a lot of. It'd be hard to record with you because there'd be a lot of meow meows in the background.
Be cats. Yes.
Yeah, a lot of meow meows.
If you got it for you, How do I picture you? You would have to. You would probably be more of like the tomboy. You would probably be the kind that like is just kind of cool to hang out with. As far as like, you're not going to girls' nights. You're hanging with the guys because you're just that kind of a lady.
Yeah. Thank you. Love it.
This is weird.
I hope you're high right now, Boltville, because I hope this is
I hope this takes you on a nice trip, because this is strange.
Feeling sexier here as we go.
And yeah, the Brisket Dudes would probably have the top rated podcast.
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah.
I think they would be the number one.
Yeah, eat their shorts. You know what I mean?
Exactly. All right. Well, there you go.
Dudes. I like that a lot.
Boltville 714. Thank you for asking the question, and thank you everybody for asking the questions in this very quick turnaround episode. We'll put this up at the regularly scheduled time, but we needed to record it early before Kevin ships off overseas. Kyle's clearly didn't get the memo, and he's already gone. He's already on the plane. So
I think he's already over there sipping on a pina colada.
That son of a gun.
Bitch.
Well, I think that's going to do it for us here at Charger Chat. Any final thoughts there, Kev?
No, I got nothing. It was really great hanging out with you and having a really peaceful, calm, respectful time, and no one's feelings were hurt, and everyone just had, smiles.
We just had a good time.
Just a bunch of smiles and chuckles,
Yeah. All right. Well,
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, do we want to tease the next episode as far as what we're doing? Okay. So next episode, we're not necessarily doing.
We won't have
what we normally do.
We won't have Ask Boltfam next week.
Yeah,
Taking
there won't
1
be
week
Ask
off.
Boltfam. We're taking a week off from that. We will still have an episode next week, but we're gonna do a little something different. One that after almost 300 episodes, we've done a lot of Ask Boltfam. So because we're not doing an Ask Boltfam next week, there's gonna be a best of Ask Boltfam.
We're going back in time.
Oh yeah, we're gonna go back. I mean, we've got all the episodes saved, and we're gonna find some of the best questions that we've had from previous episodes for your viewing pleasure. So tune in next week to check out the best of Ask Boltfam, as well as a few other
YouTube. There's gonna be a little video. You're not gonna want to miss.
That's right. Yeah, we've got a few other specials lined up for next week. But all right, well, that's gonna do it for us here at Charger Chat, folks. Don't forget to bolt up, because we're ready for any squad, any place.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Oh, okay, love you. Bye. Hoo-ha.
Hoo-ha. Happy 4th of July. Hoo-ha.
Happy 4th. Oh, and I'm proud to be.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
When you feel the need for a 4th of July meal, look no further than Papa Duggin's Grill. If slightly burnt hamburgers is your thing, then Papa Duggin's Grill is the place for you. You can also get the Papa Duggin's Special, which includes little patties not equally cooked on a Hawaiian roll, bread and butter pickle, homemade fries, and a beer. Come on down to Papa Duggin's Grill for the 4th and watch the fireworks fly.